Joining us now, former FBI special agent and former Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam. Here we are, another very bizarre missing case, this one with this UFO tie. Welcome to you and thank you. I want to share a comment from NewsNation's investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who has been watching this case closely. He believes it's odd that McCasland went out without his phone. Here's part of that.
It's a real question mark. It's almost as if, was he going out to meet somebody and he didn't want to be tracked or listened to? What is also puzzling a lot of his friends is the low-key nature of the FBI investigations. This is a very senior former Pentagon general, a man with some of the most sensitive national secrets in his head. It really hasn't featured much at all in any media releases by local sheriffs or by the FBI. Right. They're taking an extremely low-key approach.
Jonathan, now that the FBI is involved here, what stands out to you investigatively about trying to find this guy?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that to look at closely, which I'm sure the FBI is. One of the interviews they just played there a second ago, where somebody is saying that that there's no reason to look at the FBI community, or excuse me, the UFO community. I mean, look, we as an investigator, you look at every community, you look at every person, every possibility, and that's what FBI agents are going to do. They're going to come in there. The law enforcement low-key investigation, as you saw, you were on the ground down in Tucson. It's hard to gauge what is actually happening by the activity of the sheriffs or local police at times. So what stands out to me, though, is that he left his home and went to a hiking trail, if the information that I have is correct. It's often people go to a hiking trail and they don't take their phone, and they potentially want to unplug, or maybe he had an iWatch where he can make calls from his watch. So that would lead me to believe potentially he had a medical issue when he was on a trail. But from a point of security and the potential for who could have had an interest in abducting the general, the fact that he had access and information to some very classified information and technology-driven information for the vital to the United States government, that would be very, very important for the FBI to solve, because if he was kidnapped, they may not want anything to do with a ransom. These, if it was a nation state or another country, or even espionage, industrial espionage, that took this general and tried to get information out from him, that is a real possibility. Marni, these are possibilities. We just don't see them very often. So I think that is something that the FBI is going to be looking into. And his normal movements and his normal activity is going to play a big part in this, I believe.
Yeah, and we also know that homeowners in the area, I mean, hundreds of people who live in the area have been contacted about their security footage. What other investigative tools will law enforcement be looking into to try to uncover any evidence, even in his own digital interactions?
Sure. Well, his activity, like if that's a regular time that he goes for a hike, of course, they're going to find that out. Where his phone was previous to that, was he meeting with certain people? What phones were in that location? Phones play a huge part in all these. I'm so surprised when bad guys do things with phones on their side, but they do. And who was around him at that particular time, and who has been around him? Generally speaking, where he's been at. So they have all the ability to look at all these different things with phones. Of course, the cameras, now that we know that Google has Nest camera, whether you subscribe to it or not, that may be something that the FBI is looking into now as well. So there's going to be a lot of technology that 30 years ago wasn't used, but is really becoming mainstay right now. And I would think also if they have the ability to get dogs out there, that's going to be a huge thing, because they can track from his house. Even now, that was February 27th. That's nothing for these dogs. They can still latch onto a scent from his home and see where that ended. And that is something that they should have done already if they haven't, but I would suspect that that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I know they're getting assistance from his base where he worked there as well. Jonathan Gilliam, thank you as always.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.